Hey everyone, I know you're all probably super busy, but stick with us for a bit because we're going to be diving into something that could totally change your life.
Oh, yeah,
Sleep,
definitely.
and specifically how to create a nighttime routine that actually works for women.
Absolutely.
We found this awesome guide,
Oh,
and
cool.
we're going to pull out the best and maybe most surprising bits.
Sounds good.
You know how we always think of sleep as just recharging?
Yeah, like just needing to rest.
Well, this guide goes way deeper than that.
Really?
Yeah, it connects sleep to everything from
Wow.
your immune system and hormones to even long-term health risks.
That's amazing. It's like sleep is the basis of a healthy life, not just a nice thing to have.
Exactly. It's not just a luxury.
Right.
We all know how it feels to be totally wiped out after a bad night.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But I was surprised by how much sleep impacts things like hormone regulation,
Mm-hmm.
which is especially important for women.
Definitely, yeah.
Can you talk more about that?
For sure. The guide really digs into how the hormonal shifts women experience,
Okay.
throughout their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Things like menstruation, pregnancy, and menopause,
Yeah,
they can really mess with sleep.
makes sense.
Like during perimenopause and menopause,
Okay.
when estrogen levels are all over the place,
Yeah.
it can cause hot flashes and night sweats, which makes it way harder to sleep well.
Totally. So it's like our bodies are working against us
Yeah.
when we're already dealing with so much.
Exactly. And then, on top of all of that, you've got the stress factor.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Women are juggling so much these days. Work, family, a million other things.
It never ends.
It's no wonder it's hard to switch off at night.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And all that chronic stress can really mess with our sleep.
It really can. When you're constantly in that fight or flight mode,
Oh, yeah.
your cortisol levels are through the roof,
Uh-huh.
which makes it hard to relax and drift off.
So true.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the blue light from our phones and laptops.
Oh, yeah, we're all guilty of that.
Yeah, totally guilty. But why is blue light such a sleep killer? Is it just because it keeps our brains engaged?
It's actually more than just mental stimulation.
Really?
Blue light actually stops your body from making melatonin,
Oh, wow.
which is the hormone that tells your body it's time to sleep.
Okay.
And we're talking about specific wavelengths of blue light,
Yeah.
the kind our devices give off.
So even if you're reading like a calming book on a tablet,
Yeah, even
oh, that blue light can still mess with your sleep cycle.
Exactly.
Wow. I didn't realize it was such a direct connection.
It's pretty crazy.
So it's not just about what we're doing on our phones. It's the light itself that's telling our brains to stay awake.
Yep,
Okay, so that's a good reminder to put the phone down earlier.
for sure.
So we've covered why sleep is so important, especially for women.
Right.
But this deep dive is about finding solutions.
Absolutely.
So let's get practical.
Okay.
This guide gives us some great steps to build a good nighttime routine.
Nice.
It's like a personalized toolkit for better sleep.
I like that.
And one of the most basic tools is a consistent sleep schedule.
Yeah, that's huge.
I know it seems simple, but sticking to a regular bedtime and wake-up time even on weekends is super powerful.
It really is. It's all about getting in sync with your natural sleep-wake cycle.
You mean our circadian rhythm?
Exactly.
Okay, I gotta admit those weekend lions are tempting. Oh, tell me about it.
What happens to our internal clock when we mess with that consistency?
It's basically like you're traveling across time zones every weekend.
Oh, no.
Your body can't figure out when it's supposed to be tired or alert.
That makes sense.
And that can make it hard to fall asleep. You wake up feeling groggy.
Ugh.
And it can even lead to more serious sleep problems later on.
Wow. So it's not just about feeling a little tired on Monday morning.
No.
It's about creating that harmony with our natural sleep pattern.
Exactly.
Consistency is key.
Couldn't agree more. What else can we add to our sleep toolkit?
Well, another powerful tool is a relaxing pre-sleep ritual.
The idea is to take that hour or so before bed and do things that tell your mind and body it's time to wind down.
That's a great way to put it.
So things like reading a good book, taking a warm bath,
Huh.
maybe some gentle stretching or meditation.
I love all of those.
It's about intentionally creating that space for relaxation.
Exactly.
What are some of the things you do to wind down before bed?
I'm a big fan of deep breathing exercises.
Yeah, those are great. Yeah.
Even just 5 to 10 minutes can do wonders for calming your nervous system.
How does that work?
Well, it activates the parasympathetic nervous system,
Okay.
which is responsible for the rest and digest response.
So it's like hitting the brakes on our stress response.
Exactly.
That's such a simple but powerful technique.
It really is.
I know a lot of people also love herbal teas like chamomile or lavender to relax before bed.
Oh, yeah, those are nice.
Have you found those helpful?
They definitely contribute to a sense of calm,
Uh-huh.
especially when you combine them with other relaxing things.
Right.
But even decaf teas can have small amounts of caffeine,
Oh, really?
which can affect some people.
Interesting.
So it's always a good idea to try things out and see what works best for you.
That's a great point. We all have different sensitivities and preferences.
We do.
It's about finding those rituals that really help you unwind and get ready for sleep.
I agree.
Okay, so we've got a consistent sleep schedule and a relaxing pre-sleep ritual in our toolbox.
Awesome.
What else can we do to set ourselves up for sleep success?
Well, the guide goes into your sleep environment next.
Okay.
Your bedroom should be like a sanctuary for sleep.
Oh, love that.
And that means paying attention to all the sensory details,
Yeah.
temperature, light, and noise.
Okay, paint me a picture. What does the ideal sleep sanctuary look and feel like?
So you walk into your bedroom,
Okay.
and it's cool and quiet.
Sounds nice.
The guide actually recommends a temperature between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow, I didn't realize it needed to be that cool.
It's because a slightly cool room helps your brain know it's time for sleep.
Interesting.
And then it's dark, like really dark.
Yeah.
Blackout curtains or an eye mask are great for blocking out all the light.
I can see that.
Yeah, even a little bit of light can disrupt your sleep.
Wow, I didn't realize the temperature was so important.
Yeah, it's super important.
That makes sense, though. I definitely sleep better when it's cooler.
Right.
And darkness is key for me, too. I'm super sensitive to light when I'm trying to sleep.
A lot of people are.
Yeah.
Even tiny LEDs on electronics can mess with your melatonin production.
Oh, wow.
So cover those up, or even better, get them out of the bedroom completely.
Okay, cool, dark and quiet. Got it.
Exactly.
But it can't just be a sensory deprivation chamber, right?
Sure.
Comfort matters, too.
It does. The guide talks a lot about having a comfy bed,
Of course.
a supportive mattress that works for your sleep style, and cozy pillows.
Yeah,
Your bed should be inviting and make you sleepy.
for sure.
Yeah.
What kind of mattress do you like?
I'm not too picky,
Okay.
but I do notice a big difference when I have a good mattress.
Yeah, me too. I'm a bit of a Goldilocks when it comes to mattresses.
Uh-huh. I get that.
Not too hard, not too soft. Just right.
I hear.
But I've definitely noticed I sleep better on a good mattress.
It makes such a difference. A good mattress and comfy bedding can really change your whole sleep experience.
I agree. So we've talked about the environment,
Right.
but what about what we put into our bodies?
Uh-huh.
This guide also talks about how diet affects our sleep, right?
It does, and it points out some surprising connections.
Oh, like what?
Well, we all know that afternoon coffee can keep us up at night.
Yeah?
But the guide really explains how even if you think you're fine with caffeine close to bedtime, it can still mess with the deeper parts of your sleep.
Really?
You might fall asleep okay, but you won't get that truly restful sleep.
So even if I don't feel wired after that evening cup, it could still be affecting my sleep.
It could. And then there's alcohol.
Uh,
A glass of wine might make you sleepy at first,
yeah.
but then it actually disrupts your sleep later,
Oh.
leading to those annoying middle-of-the-night wake-ups.
Ugh. Those are the worst. You finally drift off and then bam, you're wide awake at 3 a.m.
I know, right?
What about food? We all know that eating a big meal right before bed can make it hard to fall asleep. But why is that?
It's all about digestion.
Okay.
If you eat a big meal before bed, your body is working hard to break it down, which can get in the way of falling asleep and staying asleep.
So are late night snacks totally off limits?
Not necessarily. The key is to avoid those big, heavy meals a few hours before bed.
Okay.
If you're hungry later in the evening, choose something light and easy to digest.
Right, something that won't keep you up.
Exactly.
So it's about being mindful of what we eat and drink before bed.
It is.
But let's go back to screen time.
Okay.
We talked about blue light,
Right.
but are there other reasons we should put our devices away before bed?
Absolutely. Besides blue light, screens are just stimulating.
That's true.
They keep our brains active and engaged,
Yeah.
making it harder to relax and get sleep.
So it's not just melatonin. It's also about giving our minds a break from all the information.
Exactly. And remember, this isn't just about scrolling through social media. Even reading a book on a tablet can be stimulating enough to mess with your sleep.
Okay, point taken. So how do we actually do this digital detox?
Oh.
It's not easy to just shut off in our tech-filled world.
I know. It's tough. The guide suggests aiming for a complete screen shutdown at least 30 minutes before bed.
Okay.
That means phones, tablets, laptops, TVs, everything.
30 minutes? That sounds doable.
It is.
But what if you absolutely have to use a device before bed?
Well, if you can't completely unplug, the guide suggests using blue light filters.
Right.
Most devices have them built in now, or you can download an app.
Oh, yeah. I've actually been using night shift mode on my phone,
Nice.
but I haven't been super consistent with.
Even using it sometimes is better than not at all.
True.
Every little bit helps when it comes to blue light.
Okay. I'm feeling inspired to take my digital detox more seriously.
Good.
So we've covered a lot here.
We have.
Consistent sleep schedule, relaxing pre-sleep ritual, creating that perfect sleep sanctuary, being mindful of what we eat and drink, and ditching our devices before bed.
That's a great list.
What else can we add to our sleep arsenal?
Well, the guide talks about mindfulness and stress management.
Okay.
It might sound a little woo-woo, but it can be incredibly effective for better sleep, especially for women who are often dealing with a lot of stress.
I'm intrigued. This is something I've never really tried before.
Oh, that's great.
What exactly does the guide recommend?
There are a few different techniques, but one that really stood out to me was gratitude journaling.
Okay, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
But how does writing down things you're grateful for actually help you sleep better?
It's about shifting your mental focus.
Oh,
When you
yeah.
take a few minutes before bed to think about the good things that happened that day, even small things,
Yeah.
you're intentionally ending your day on a positive note. It can help calm your mind and reduce anxiety, making it easier to fall asleep.
So instead of replaying all the stressful things that happened,
Right.
we're focusing on the good stuff.
Exactly.
It's like a mental reset button.
I like that analogy. What other mindfulness techniques does the guide mention? Well, it's amazing how just changing your focus can have such a big impact on your mental state and then your sleep. The guide also talks about progressive muscle relaxation.
Well, I haven't heard of that one. What's that about?
It's a technique where you tense and relax different muscle groups in your body,
Okay.
starting with your toes and working up to your head.
Oh, interesting.
It helps release physical tension, which can often turn into mental stress and anxiety.
Right. So it's like a physical way to tell your body to let go of the tension from the day and get ready for sleep.
Exactly.
I can see how that would be helpful.
Yeah.
What other mindfulness tricks does the guide have?
Another one I really like is visualization.
Okay.
The guide says to create a calming picture in your mind.
Okay.
Like imagine yourself on a peaceful beach or walking through a quiet forest.
Oh, I love that.
It's about using your imagination to feel relaxed and peaceful.
That's like taking a mini mental vacation before bed.
Yeah, exactly.
It helps you escape from all the worries and stressful thoughts that might keep you up.
For sure.
Okay, so we've got all these great tools for a sleep-promoting nighttime routine, a consistent sleep schedule, a relaxing pre-sleep ritual, creating that perfect sleep sanctuary, being mindful of what we eat and drink, digital detox, and these amazing mindfulness techniques.
That's quite a list.
It's like a holistic approach to sleep,
It is.
addressing both our physical and mental well-being.
I like that.
But I'm curious, is there like an ideal amount of sleep everyone should aim for?
That's a great question.
The guide mentions that sleep isn't one size fits all.
Right. It says that sleep needs can be really different from person to person.
Okay.
It depends on things like your age, your genes, how active you are, and even your stress levels.
So just because my friend swears by 8 hours a night doesn't mean that's the magic number for me.
Exactly.
So how do we figure out our own personal sleep sweet spot? Are there any clues our bodies give us?
Yeah, definitely. The guide says to pay attention to how you feel during the day.
Okay.
If you're always tired or sluggish or having trouble focusing,
Yeah.
it could mean you're not getting enough sleep.
It's like our bodies are always sending us messages. We just need to listen.
So true.
It's not just about the amount of sleep, though, right? The quality matters, too.
Absolutely.
The guide talks about the different stages of sleep
Yeah,
and how it's important to cycle through all of them for the best rest and rejuvenation.
it is. Can you talk more about that?
Oh, yeah, for sure. There are 4 main stages of sleep,
Okay.
3 non-REM stages, and then REM sleep, which is where we dream.
Right.
Each state has a different purpose.
Uh-huh.
Like deep sleep, which happens in stage 3 of non-REM, is super important for physical restoration and repair.
That's right. And REM sleep is crucial for memory and processing emotions.
Wow. It's amazing how all that happens in our brains while we
But
sleep.
it's like a whole other world going on in there.
What happens when we don't get enough of those different sleep stages?
If any of those stages get messed up or cut short,
Okay.
it can affect how rested you feel the next day.
Makes sense.
You might feel sleepy during the day, have trouble concentrating, have mood swings,
Oh,
and even have a higher risk of health problems over time.
So it's not just about getting enough hours. It's about making sure we're going through all those important sleep stages. It
Absolutely.
makes all those good sleep habits we talked about even more important.
They really are the foundation.
What are some of the things that can mess up those healthy sleep cycles?
Well, stress and anxiety are big ones.
Yeah, figures.
The guide says that when you're stressed all the time, your body is constantly making cortisol,
Right.
that fight or flight hormone,
Uh-huh.
which makes it hard to relax and fall asleep.
It's like a vicious cycle. You
Um,
can't
that
sleep because you're stressed, and then you're more stressed because you can't sleep.
It really is a vicious cycle. How do we break it?
Well, the guide says it's important to manage stress throughout the day. Things like exercise, spending time in nature, doing hobbies you enjoy.
I like that.
Those can all help lower your stress levels,
They can.
making it easier to wind down at night.
That's a great approach.
It's about creating a more sleep-friendly environment, both inside and out.
I agree. What are some other things we can do to deal with stress specifically when it's keeping us up at night?
Hmm.
Good question.
Well, the guide has some great tips for dealing with stress in the moment.
Oh, like what?
One technique I like is the 4-7-8 breathing exercise.
Okay, tell me more about that one. How does it work?
It's really simple. You breathe in for a count of 4, hold your breath for a count of 7, and then exhale slowly for a count of 8.
Oh, wow.
This breathing pattern helps to calm your nervous system and quiet your mind.
Sounds very relaxing.
It is. It's
Oh,
like telling your body it's safe to relax.
that's a great tool to have for those nights when your mind won't shut off.
It really is.
Yeah.
Are there any other techniques for taming that mental chatter?
That's a good question. The guide also talks about challenging those negative thoughts and worries that keep you up at night.
Yeah, those are the worst.
It suggests using techniques like cognitive reframing to change your perspective.
I've heard of that, but I'm not really sure what it is. What does cognitive reframing involve?
It's about choosing to look at a situation from a different, more positive angle.
Okay.
Like if you're lying awake worrying about a presentation at work.
Oh, yeah. I do that all the time.
Instead of focusing on everything that could go wrong, try to focus on how much you've prepared and the chance to share your knowledge.
Oh, that's a good example.
Is.
It's about shifting your mindset from worry to problem solving or even just acceptance.
Exactly.
So instead of letting those negative thoughts spiral out of control,
Yeah.
you're taking back control.
Right. You're not denying your feelings. You're just finding better ways to handle them.
That's great. And speaking of things that can take over our minds and keep us from sleeping well, the guide also talks about technology.
Oh, yeah. Technology, the elephant in the room.
We already talked about blue light, but I'm sure there are other ways technology can mess with our sleep.
There are. The guide talks about how all the stimulation from our devices, the notifications, the endless scrolling,
Yeah,
all of that keeps our brains in a state of hyperarousal,
that makes sense.
making it almost impossible to really disconnect and wind down.
So true. It's
Uh,
like our brains are always on, even when we're trying to relax.
It's like we're addicted to it. We feel this urge to constantly check our phones even when we know it's not good for us.
How do we break free from this tech-induced sleep sabotage?
The guide has some good advice for setting boundaries with our devices.
Okay.
One suggestion is to create tech-free zones in your home, like your bedroom.
Okay.
Make your bedroom a place for sleep, not scrolling and screens.
I love that idea. Just imagining a tech-free bedroom makes me feel more relaxed.
I know, right? What are some other ways to tame the technology beast?
Oh.
Another good tip is to have a digital curfew.
The
Yeah. Choose a time, maybe an hour or two before bed, and commit to putting your phone away, closing your laptop, and resisting the urge to check social media.
Okay, so it's about setting boundaries and taking back control of our time and attention.
Exactly.
I love that. It's like a bedtime for our devices.
I like that.
But what if you use your phone as your alarm clock?
The guide actually recommends using a good old-fashioned alarm clock.
Oh, really?
It might seem like a small thing,
Yeah.
but it takes away that temptation to start your day scrolling through your phone,
That's so true.
which can lead to a more stressed and distracted day.
That's a great point. It's about separating technology from sleep.
Exactly.
I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together. It's not just about individual tips and tricks. It's about creating a whole sleep-supportive world for ourselves.
I agree. This guide has been so insightful. I feel like I'm finally understanding the science behind sleep and the power of a good nighttime routine.
Me too. It's like a whole new world has opened up.
It really is. And remember, even small changes can make a big difference.
Yeah, I'm feeling really inspired to make some changes.
That's great. Listen to your body, experiment with different techniques, and don't be afraid to get help from a professional if you need it.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
This has been such an eye-opening journey. I've learned so much about the science of sleep, the power of a good nighttime routine, and how important it is to prioritize our sleep needs.
I'm so glad. This guide has been a great resource, but it's just the beginning of your sleep journey.
That's true.
Keep learning, keep exploring, and keep making sleep a priority.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought. This guide has been fantastic, but it's really just the start of your sleep journey.
it is.
Keep learning, keep exploring, and always prioritize your sleep. Sweet dreams, everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, so welcome back for the last part of our deep dive
Yeah.
into this awesome guide on creating a really great nighttime routine for better sleep, especially for us women.
It's been fun.
So far, we've talked about the science of sleep, the challenges we face,
Uh-huh.
and all those great tools for building that solid sleep foundation.
Right. It's like setting ourselves up for success.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
let's be real, even with the best intentions and a good routine, sometimes things still go wrong.
Yeah, life happens.
And this guide gets that. It dives into those common sleep disruptors and gives us real strategies for dealing with them.
I like that practical approach.
So let's talk about one of the biggest culprits that I think a lot of us have probably dealt with at some point.
Okay.
Insomnia.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's least favorite sleep thief.
Seriously.
Oh,
It's that feeling of staring at the ceiling,
tossing and turning.
counting sheep, willing yourself to fall asleep,
Right.
but your mind just won't quit. It's the worst.
It's so frustrating. The guide talks about how insomnia can show up in different ways.
Oh, really?
It's not just about having trouble falling asleep.
Okay.
It can also be waking up in the middle of the night or waking up way too early and not being able to fall back asleep.
Oh, yeah, I've been there. It's like a whole spectrum of sleeplessness.
It really is.
What causes insomnia? Is it always stress?
Stress and anxiety are definitely big factors.
Figures?
But it can also be caused by medical conditions, certain medications, or even just bad sleep habits that have developed over time.
So it's like we need to figure out the root cause before we can find the right solution.
Exactly. It's like
Yep.
detective work.
The guide stresses how important it is to rule out any underlying medical conditions,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
especially if you're dealing with insomnia a lot. Talk to your doctor to make sure there's nothing else going on.
That's always a good first step.
Sometimes we try to fix things ourselves when we really need professional help.
Absolutely.
Once you've ruled out any medical issues, the guide has all sorts of strategies for managing insomnia.
Okay.
Some of them we've already talked about, like a consistent sleep schedule, a relaxing pre-sleep routine, and limiting screen time.
Right. Those are like the foundation.
It's like those are the building blocks of good sleep.
I like that analogy. But the guide also goes deeper and gives us some more specific techniques for insomnia.
Oh, really?
Like what? One that really interested me was stimulus control therapy.
Stimulus control therapy. That sounds kind of intense.
It's not as bad as it sounds.
Okay, good.
The goal is to retrain your brain to connect your bed with sleep and only sleep.
Okay.
You want to break those links with being awake or feeling anxious that happen when you're tossing and turning for hours.
That makes a lot of sense. If you're constantly associating your bed with stress and frustration, of course you'll have trouble falling asleep.
Exactly. So how does it work?
Yeah, tell me more.
Well, there are a few key rules. Only go to bed when you're actually sleepy if you can't fall asleep after 20 minutes. Get out of bed and do something relaxing until you feel tired. And no activities in bed other than sleep and, well,
Uh-huh. Got it.
yeah.
Okay, so no more reading in bed, no more working in bed, no more scrolling on your phone in bed.
Nope.
It's a sleep-only zone.
It is. It's about creating those clear boundaries and rebuilding that healthy connection between sleep and your bed.
That's a pretty big change for a lot of us.
Yeah.
What other techniques does the guide suggest for insomnia?
Another one is sleep restriction therapy.
Sleep restriction therapy. That sounds counterintuitive. Why would you want to restrict your sleep if you're already not getting enough?
I know it seems weird,
Uh,
but the idea is that by making your sleep window shorter, you actually make your sleep more efficient.
Oh, interesting.
You're basically training your body to sleep more deeply in a shorter amount of time.
It's like hitting the reset button on our sleep patterns.
Yeah, and teaching our bodies to really use that time in bed wisely. Is this something you can do on your own, or do you need to work with a sleep expert?
That's a good question.
It's always best to talk to a professional before starting any kind of sleep therapy, including sleep restriction.
Oh, okay.
They can help you figure out if it's right for you and make sure you're doing it safely and effectively.
Got it. So we've talked about insomnia. What other common sleep struggles does the guide cover?
Another one, and this is something that often affects women, is restless leg syndrome.
Oh, restless legs.
Oh.
That feeling where you just have to move your legs.
Yeah.
It's like an itch you can't scratch.
Yeah. Exactly. It's a weird sensation, and it can make it almost impossible to fall asleep or stay asleep.
Totally. The guide mentions that they're still not sure what exactly causes restless leg syndrome.
Right. It could be things like low iron levels, genetics, or certain medical conditions.
So no easy answer.
Not really. But even without knowing the exact cause, the guide gives us some good strategies for managing the symptoms and sleeping better.
I'm all ears. What can we do to calm down those restless legs?
Just like with insomnia, the first thing is to rule out any underlying medical conditions,
Okay.
especially iron deficiency. Talk to your doctor to get checked out.
Always good to check with the experts. What else can we do?
The guide suggests some lifestyle changes, like getting regular exercise, avoiding caffeine and alcohol, and getting regular leg massages.
Massages. Yes, please. I'm all about that.
Right. They also mention things like applying heat or cold packs to your legs, doing leg stretches, and practicing relaxation techniques like yoga or meditation.
Interesting. It seems like a lot of these strategies for specific sleep problems overlap with the general sleep hygiene stuff we talked about earlier.
You're right. It shows how creating those good sleep habits can really help no matter what specific challenges you're dealing with.
It's like building up our sleep resilience.
Exactly.
So no matter what life throws at us, we're ready.
I like that. This brings us to the end of our deep dive into this awesome guide.
I can't believe it's over. This has been so eye-opening. I feel like I've learned so much about sleep, the power of a good nighttime routine, and how important it is to really take care of our sleep needs.
I'm so glad to hear that. Remember, even small changes can make a huge difference.
Yeah, I'm excited to start putting some of these things into practice.
Me too. Listen to your body, try different things, and don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it.
That's such great advice.
Yeah.
And on that note, I think it's time to wrap things up.
Okay.
This deep dive has been incredible. I've learned so much.
Me
But
too.
remember, this is just the beginning of your sleep journey.
Yeah.
Keep learning, keep exploring, and always prioritize your sleep.
Couldn't agree more.
Sweet dreams, everyone.